Yeah, hi there. These comments are for HJ, and this is Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. And I'm going to go ahead and give you some comments on your essay, your first writing practice test that you submitted for my online TOEFL course, and also you're one of my students at California State University, San Bernardino. All right, your first paragraph, roommates in, now I may make some changes as I read. Roommates in a university, I'm going to say should have main traits to reside while going to a university. I would say to reside with someone while maybe attending a university. Maybe attending is a little bit better vocabulary word than going. You say first, he or she can require honesty to use the stuffs together and to clean up. Stuff is not a good vocabulary word, I'm telling you. This is going to really cause you problems in your academic writing. Do you want to say personal effects, belongings, electronic appliances? You know, you have to do better than the word stuff. That's just simply too much of a basic word for this type of writing. You say second, he or she can distribute the emotional struggle and food flavor with each other. I'm not sure you're going to be able to do what you're trying to do here. Emotional struggle and food flavor. I don't see how you can argue these 2 points in the same paragraph, but maybe you'll surprise me. And then you say third, roommates may experience disparity from civilizing perspective. But to me, I don't. What argument are you making here? You're more making a statement. But the main thing is, what are the qualities of a good roommate? The third idea here, I'm not really sure what you're trying to do. So that third point's really going to cause you a lot of trouble, I think, with your score. Your next paragraph, you say first, he or she may require honesty to use his stuff together and to clean up. A simple dispute about cleanup and honesty shows he or she limits each stress and pressure to distribute stuffs in kitchen. You don't want to use stuff. You mean appliances, mixers, blenders, microwave stoves, dishwashers. Exactly what does stuff mean? You say he or she might comprise a certain number of future roommates as well. This raises a few questions. If it's possible for a roommate to be terrible in the secluded past, then it has to be possible for another roommate to be cooperative in the faraway future. The last part of this paragraph, it doesn't really connect back to the beginning of the paragraph. The whole purpose of this paragraph is to show why honesty is an important quality in a good roommate. You're not giving good basic examples to help support your generalizations. Your paragraph doesn't really have a really good connected type organization. All right, so that's going to cause you a lot of problems very, very quickly. Okay, let's go to your next paragraph. It says second, he or she can consider of hospitality to split the emotional struggle and food flavor. You want to put with each other. Would he or she find perfect roommates? If he or she all pairs up at random, which gives a roommate condition, a 87% mortality rate. Most of the roommates have a pool and around 500,000 potential matches with the same gender control. Roommates would be wandering a random roommate. They have different orientation on taste of food. Some parties, such as birthday and warming up at the dormitory, cause them to accomplish something and enjoy a party. This is not working at all. You're having serious translation problems with your writing. It isn't even clear. It's not clear what you're trying to say. You say in the beginning, he or she can consider hospitality to split the emotional struggle and food flavor, but what you want to do is you need to go back to the writing prompt and say something like, another important quality in a good roommate is he or she is able to split the emotional struggle. But the emotional struggle and the food flavor, putting these in the same paragraph is kind of like trying to talk about automobiles and apples in the same paragraph. It just doesn't fit. And the examples you're giving are not clear. I don't see how these examples connect back to what you're trying to do. So, to be honest with you, I'm lost. I'm very, very confused with your writing and what you're trying to do here. All right, let's go to the next paragraph. You say, third, roommates may experience variation between the cultural perspectives. This isn't what you're trying to do. What you want to do is say, third, another important quality in a good roommate is you need to create what's called arguable topic sentences. You're creating more of a fact, and you can't really defend a fact. So you're creating the wrong tone for your paragraph because your topic sentence is introducing more of a fact and not really much of an argument. So you say, what if she or he did hand over a roommate and he or she could be joyful with a roommate? What about food flavor, cultural orientation, and language? He or she could keep using tricks to break an affair down. He or she can hide his or her poor tribulations and struggle to present a blissful face to friends. In a circumstances, he or she doesn't be acquainted with each roommate, what to look in decisive traits. Each roommate has diverse orientation toward a roommate. Again, I'm not clear what it is you're trying to argue here. So this is also very confusing. Okay, the last paragraph you say, arranged all stress and pressure about cleaning, some would fake honesty. Again, you're making more of a fact, not a statement, not an argument. You say first, he or she required honesty to use his stuff together and to clean up. Second, he or she can feel hospitality to share the affecting struggle in the food flavor. Third, each roommate may experience diversity between the cultural perspectives. Roommates could have main traits to live with someone while going to a university. Alrighty, now let's take a look at how you scored and why. Okay, when we take a look at the rubrics, I think I have a pretty good idea what to do here. If I look in the two area, now I'm going to say it's so difficult to understand what you're saying. You're having difficulties communicating at the very basic level, I think, of English here. So I'm going to put you at 1.75 out of 5, or 12 points out of 30. Now, my recommendations, if we go to my online course, there's just so much. I'm afraid I'm going to overwhelm you, but I really sincerely think before you can really straighten out these translation problems you're having, you have to go back and really work hard in the vocabulary aspects of my TOEFL course. So that's one suggestion, is to go to the vocabulary and work super hard on trying to learn all of those 1,700 vocabulary words. So my ebook will give you some good reading practice and listening practice, and you really need a much better command of the language, I think, before you can come back and respond to these tasks in a meaningful way. The next thing I'd recommend is you have grammar issues, but your grammar issues are more translation issues. So there's not really a lot I can say right there. So I'm not really going to spend much time talking about your grammar issues because most of them are translation issues. Okay, reading. Reading is absolutely critical, I think, for you right now. HJ. Now, what I'd recommend here is a three-pronged attack. And really the most important thing you can do right now is to spend time reading. You want to read newspapers, magazines, and longer books. It would be a great idea for you to spend about 45 minutes a day just reading casually anything you can get your hands on, and really pay attention to how the writers are structuring their ideas and what type of vocabulary words are they using in order to communicate their ideas. So that's very important. I would highly, highly recommend that. Now let's talk about the writing area. There are a few things I think you need to work on, but remember that a lot of your problems are translation problems, and you can't really solve them simply by learning how to organize your writing better. But I do recommend, I'd like to have you take a look at lesson 4.1 in my writing section of my course. It's called A Simple Direct Approach to Answering the TOEFL IBT Independent Writing Tasks. You're not simple or direct at all. In fact, I mean, with you, you're writing more like this. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. You're writing more what I call circular type organization. So I'm going to take a sheet of paper here, and this would describe your writing. Like this. I don't know if you can see that. But basically what it means is you're kind of going in circles when you get into your paragraphs. Instead of beginning with your arguable topic sentence, which you need to do, you're stating more facts, and then as you get near the end of the paragraph, you start to make more of your argument. So you definitely don't want to do that for academic writing in English. But anyway, I would really, really recommend lesson 4.1. I'd also recommend lesson 4, creating sharply focused thesis statements. Lesson 5, writing effective body paragraphs, I think is important for you because you don't have you're not using basic details in your paragraphs to help support your ideas. You're really not doing that. Lesson 5.2, I think you could also, lesson 5.1, writing effective topic sentences, I think that would be important. Lesson 5.2, using transition words to connect ideas, I think that would also be good for you. And then where it says lesson 5.1, writing details. Now, you got to really think about your situation, and I got a feeling here that there is a connection, I think, in your writing with your speaking. And I've noticed that you have an extraordinarily difficult time expressing your ideas in speaking, in the spoken language. I've noticed this from previous quarters. And sometimes when I talk to you, I'll ask you a question, but you won't answer that question for whatever reason. So if I ask you like a yes-no question or something like that, you typically will not answer that question directly, either because you don't understand me, or if you are answering, you don't know what kind of grammar or vocabulary you can use to help you express your ideas. Now, this is my theory. My theory is pretty simple. If you can improve your speaking proficiency of English, I think you can begin to eliminate some of these translation problems you're having in your writing. Now remember, just because you have great speaking skills in English doesn't guarantee that you will have great writing skills. In fact, many native speakers of American English are very proficient in the spoken language, but they're very poor writers. However, in your situation, you're a little bit unique. I think that if you had the language, if you had the grammar, I think you might be able to organize your writing a little bit better than what you're doing right now. So your problem has to be solved by doing two things. You have to do all the suggestions I just said, but on the other hand, you need to also spend time working on improving your overall speaking proficiency of American English. And as you do that, and as you work on what I just suggested for your writing proficiency, you will get better. All right? But we got to face it here. You got some very serious problems right now. Right? You want to take graduate classes, I think, at American universities, and your graduate professors are going to have trouble understanding what you're trying to say, either when you're speaking or when you're writing. So it's very, very important for you to look at this as urgent. This is an emergency for you. So each day when you wake up in the morning, you're going to say two things. Say these two things. Say to yourself, HJ, what am I going to do today to improve my speaking proficiency of American English? That's your first question. Tomorrow, when you wake up in the morning. And tomorrow, during the day, make sure you find things to do that will help you with your speaking proficiency. Maybe it's watching an American movie. Maybe it's reading a newspaper for a half hour. Maybe it's reading a book for 40 minutes. But you need to do something. The next thing, you should also say every day, what do I need to do to improve my writing proficiency today? Or maybe say, what will I do to improve my writing proficiency today? So each day, when you wake up in the morning, it is very important that you take direct action over your life and begin improving your speaking and your writing proficiency. Alrighty, anyway, thank you very much for turning in the essay, and I look forward to reading your midterm exam as well. Bye-bye.